Okay, in any programming language, I think this for next or do certain things as a looping way is the most important coding compared to if-then statement, right? So they are kind of two very important code. Now in this task, we're gonna cover for next coding. If we know how many loopings we need in the code, then for next is kind of best way to do that. Okay? So let's open worksheet number 1 and open Visual Basic Editor, and let's make another module here. So go to insert and module, and that should be module number 3, but it doesn't mean anything. Okay, in there let's type in this code. Okay, the title name, so I mean the title of that subroutine, it just could be anything. Then look at it, the for next, okay, that's the kind of huge tool, right? And whenever you start with for, it should always comes with 2, right? And between that we have to give a name for the variable. It's going to be changing variable, okay, and it's an integer, okay, and you can choose any starting number, so you shouldn't need to start 1 always, right? It could be any number, but typically it's kind of easiest way to start it, right? So I equals 1, so the meaning is for I, right? So for is for I, right? So whatever I do, we're going to do certain things here, and we are going to change the value I to the next integer, okay? So if I start from any integer, then we want to, for that kind of I, we want to do this until when I hits this number, okay? So including that number too, right? So we want to do this task when I is from 1 to 10. That's the meaning of it. And at this moment, to increase the number I, we need that code, right? So next means next integer of I. So let's just run a couple of times within this code. We have to start when I equals 1, definitely. Then cells 1, 1, right? So in our worksheet, the cell number 1, 1 should have that value, which is 1, right? Right now this is 1. Then after we kind of typed 1 inside that cell 1, 1, we have to increase this number I to 2, right? Then we just do again. So now change I to 2 and do this again. Then it's 2, 1. So in cell 2, 1, we have to put 2. Be careful, it's not 1 anymore, right? It's increased, right? So just do it again. So when I is 3, in cell 3, 1, we put 3 in there, and keep doing that until we hit 10. So when I becomes 10, we have to do it again. So cells 10, 1 should have value 10 in there, and that's the last moment, because this for next statement is up to just 10 when I becomes 10, right? So when you do that, it just go to the next line, not do this. So it becomes end of this whole subroutine. Okay, so look at here, we don't have anything, and even we don't need to place our cursor at 1, 1, right? It could be any other place. But now when you run this, so at this moment, just like this, and click that one. Okay, and let's look at, you can see that 1, 1 has 2, 1 has 2, up to 10, 1 has 10 in there. Okay, so that's what we do. Okay, to check this code, let me delete this whole thing, and within that code, instead of starting with 1, let me change that to 3. Then what do you expect? Our initial cell must be 3, 1, and it should have 3 in there, right? So I suspect it should start from here. So let me run this. Can you see that? Right? starting there. Other things, no one says we have to place or use same I, right? It could be any value, right? So let me say it's I squared. Okay, so, and let me start from 4 and goes up to 7 only. Okay, to check it, let me delete this one again. And for this code, let's run. Then it starts from 4, so 4 comma 1 in that cell I want to put 4 squared, so 16. In the next cell I want 5 squared, right? So the last cell, which is 7 comma 1, should have 7 squared in there. Okay, so you can play with any of these. Okay, more than that, let's say for some reason you have to start with 1. Okay, let's say that, but you don't want to include first couple of cells in there. So I don't want to put 1 comma 1 cell, right? I want to leave as a blank or whatever, or I don't want to touch it, whatever it's in there already. So let's say we want to start only from the third one, okay? Or just the second one, right? Then you can put +1 in there. So can you see the situation? When I is 1, then actually we want to handle 2 comma 1 cell, right? But be careful, the value becomes I squared, but we want 2 squared, right? I follow me, right? You just don't want to touch that cell, but we want to have all the values in there as it is, right? So in that case, this I must be also at 1 there, right? That, so we have to do that like this, okay? And let me run this. Can you see that? It starts from second cell, right? Even I is 1, and it's just putting that square value of each, but it goes up to 8 because of that, right? I plus 1 and I plus 1. And let's say, oh, I don't want that much, I want up to just cell 7 comma 1. Then in this code, simply just change 7 to 6. And if we don't have that and run it, you're gonna get up to cell 7 comma 1. Okay, so please play with this code, right? You can manage these eyes or whatever you want. Okay.